Sonny has found out that he does like to rock, but he looks at the ground, the floor, like the floor's moving. He's so funny. Oh, he's whining. Bill went in the house. But when he jumps off here, I gotta hang on because he kicks real hard. He says, I like to swing. Sonny decided he wants to get in Bill's lap. He's such a baby. He has to go through all his stuff he never went through as a kid. Baby. You come back up here? Yeah. He's just trying to grow up.
Yeah, I don't know if he ever will.
Well, that's what I thought about Ben. I didn't think Ben would ever grow up. So I need all this baby stuff because I didn't have it when I was little. Where'd Bill go? He's going to cook biscuits this morning. He's got fire going. And I'm just staying in here until it heats up, and then I'll go outside too. We haven't had biscuits and gravy in a while. This morning we're going to talk about when we were in our mid-20s. We moved to Texas. We wanted to get out in the country. We live in or close to Dallas for a while, and then we moved farther out because we wanted to get out. We had a couple of horses. We lived at a place, and we had good neighbors around us. They were like country people, and they showed us stuff, and it really helped, you know, with our future, the way we're thinking, kind of how we are now. You never know the people that you meet, how they can affect your life later on. One of the neighbors that we'd visit a lot, they had a porch swing, and it was so fun to sit around with them with that porch swing and sit out on their porch, just talk. It was pretty good. Ever since then, me and Bill, we like swings. And right now, at this place, we got 3 swings. One in the food forest, one on the front porch, and one back here. Bill's in there making the biscuits. And later on I'll go and make the gravy. Have some sausage and bacon with it. That'd be good. The coffee pot is starting to get activated. Soon it'll be perking up. And then today I'll go out and do some work outside. It looks like it's a pretty morning today. Oh my goodness. Bill's got the biscuits. I think I'm going to get my jacket on. It's a little cool out here. Hey, look at Tui. She got her little sheet out here. Hey, Tui. That way she can watch Bill go by. She always wants to know he's around.
Years ago, when we were in our early to mid-20s, we moved to East Texas for about 10 years. I got a job down there, and we were kind of wanting to move out. We had lived in a big city, or close to a big city before that, and we were kind of wanting to get out. Yeah, we didn't know anything about homesteading, or we wasn't even thinking about that. We were just wanting to move out in the country. We lived there for about 10 years, but the point of this, we had neighbors where we eventually lived for a good while. On either side of us, within about a half a mile, quarter mile to half a mile. and they were a good bit older than us. And one, we leased some land off of him because we had horses, and eventually got a couple of cows. We didn't really lease it. We just fixed the fence up, and they just let us have it wasn't very much land, but to run our stock on.
I think it was 15 acres.
Yeah, 15 acres was all, but it was plenty of grass. There's pine trees on it and oak trees, pin oak. But anyway, getting back to it, the people is really what I want to talk about. They were older than us, and there's a wealth of information. But if you find somebody in your area that's lived through hard times, as like the Depression or something like that, they can really give you some good ideas. They've got a lot of experience, and one of them, this fella, he was probably 15 years older than us, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more than that, but we got to be real good friends. He and his mother, we spent a lot of evenings sitting on the porch talking to them, and that was entertainment for us. They had a porch swing. He was a guitar player, and his whole family was musical, and he had played on a radio show a few times back before that. I don't know if anybody ever remembers it nowadays. It was called the Louisiana Hayride, and it was a radio show where musicians would come in and do their songs on it, amateurs and I guess professionals. It was way back, and he was real good at it. He played the guitar. He just had an old flat top guitar. He could outplay a lot of people with high dollar electrics, and he could sing. He knew all the old country songs going way back, and he would get his guitar out occasionally and play, or if they come to eat supper with us, he'd bring his guitar, and it was, just sit in the front room. After that, we had a few times where different musicians would come in the front room and set up and play music, and it was just an old country thing. But anyway, he grew up plowing behind mules, and his mother did too. That's how they made their way.
And his mother had extra large thumbs,
Yeah,
because holding the rein all the time like that.
Holding the plow reins, and
Yeah.
her thumbs were real wide and big from holding that plow rein.
People don't even know, that happens.
And anyway, they taught us a lot. And then we had another neighbor that lived to the south of us, and he had a mule, actually. A mule, her name was Cindy, big old mule, but he used her to do all of his crops. He raised a large garden. He and his wife were really...
well, really, they were homesteaders.
They were homesteaders. They raised everything they
did.
ate. They had chickens, pigs.
Made their butter.
They made their own butter.
There was wild green grapes around there.
Right.
And she made jelly, and it turned grape jelly and was real good. So she told me how to do it, and I tried it, and my jelly was green. I don't know how she turned that to
It
grape.
still tasted good, but she just knew a lot. And we would see him going past our house from time to time, and he had a little old buckboard that he carried his plow tools in, and that Cindy, that big mule, was pulling the wagon, and he was riding in it, just like a big buckboard you see on the movies, but it was smaller. It wasn't, I don't know whether he made it himself or bought it off of somebody or traded for it. But anyway, he had a crop growing on some land that he had leased from some people, and it was probably a good acre, maybe more. It was right on a hillside, and he'd go up there and work it from time to time with that mule. And
They had sandy loam.
yeah, they had that part of the country had. If you couldn't if you could grow anything, you could grow it there.
Yeah.
It's good sandy loam soil and plenty of rain. You can grow anything. It's pretty easy, really. It's work, but you can do it. Anyway, he came by one day, and we learned from those people, either one of them, about potatoes, growing potatoes, because we didn't know anything about it. This was back in the early 70s, actually. Everybody in that area grew Irish potatoes. That's just what they grew. They didn't grow these russet potatoes or you're gonna get too hot. Get. More now. I had some potatoes planted. We had a small garden, probably about 60 or so square feet.
That might have been our first garden.
Yeah, that was our first garden that we ever tried. We had tomatoes, but we had potatoes, and in that area you always planted your potatoes. Tried to plant them on Valentine's Day, and everybody planted according to almanac back then. Planted according to the signs.
Bill.
But anyway, he pulled in the driveway.
Just a minute. I'm going to shut them down.
On the Irish potatoes, we had, I guess, 4 or 5 rows of Irish potatoes. I think I'd bought about either 25 or 50 pounds, and then you cut them up and plant them. And they're easy to grow in that climate, or they were for us, and that's what most people grew. But anyway, he was, I guess, coming by the house, and he pulled in there with his wagon and his mule pulling it. He was a great tall fella, real comical and good-natured all the time.
Yeah.
He was tough as a boot, but he was real good neighbor. So I went out to see what he was up to, and he said, "Are you ready to lay your potatoes by?" I didn't have a clue what he was talking about. I was wanting to learn all this stuff, but I was just dumb as a rock, and still probably are. But I said, "Sure," and I thought, boy, he's going to plow my garden for me, save me some work, because we didn't have a tiller. All we had was hoes, and rakes, and shovels.
Well, we didn't even know about tillers back then.
And so he unhitched Cindy from that wagon, and first he backed it up to the garden, and we lowered he had a plow. He had 2 or 3 in there, but we set it on the ground, and he didn't really need my help, but
Ben.
got it situated and got her hooked up to the plow, right, at the furrow. We're just gonna lay them by, throw the dirt to them is what we was going to do. That's what the idea was.
The idea.
And I thought, boy, he's gonna save me a lot of work. He turned around, and looked at me, he said, "Here it is, all set for you." And I said, "Oh crap."
Oh no.
So I thought, well, I'll give it a try.
You didn't know
I didn't
or haul or anything.
I didn't know come here from Sikkim. So I got behind Cindy, and his plow lines, what he used was big 1-inch cotton ropes. You see a lot of people with leather reins, but a lot of people in that part of the country use big cotton ropes. It's cheaper for one thing. It's a lot less expensive. Until you just got to keep them getting wet. Cotton don't do well. That cotton rope don't do well after it gets wet. But anyway, I got a hold of the reins, or the plow lines, what they call them. And he said, just talk to her. I didn't know my G from my haw. That's the directions for them. I don't remember it to this day. So I started, and boy, I just started steadily destroying all my potatoes, because we just looked like a snake trail going down through there. It was a mess. And he got a good laugh out of it. He let me destroy about 2 rows. And he was sitting back laughing, And then he took over, and a surveyor couldn't run a straighter line than what he done with that mule. I believe to this day. He was just perfect. And he'd just talk to Cindy and get out to the end of the row and turn her around and start back at another furrow. And he was throwing the dirt to them, laying them by. And that was a little bit of my experience with it. And the neighbor up the other way that had grew up, he didn't have any mules or anything like that. And one time, this particular one that done the potatoes for me, we did hook one of our horses up beside that mule. I remember he was doing his garden. He said, bring him up. I wanted to make one of my horses into a plow horse too, one that Susie broke. And she used to ride. And he was gentle enough.
Hey.
Bill, that's enough. He was gentle enough, and Susie had broke him real well. She could run up and jump on him from behind, like you see in the movies, you know, or back then you see it in the movies. But
I had springs in my legs
yeah,
then.
she was younger. But anyway, so we hooked that horse up beside that mule, and I probably should have kept doing it, but he was busy. I didn't want to bother him much. But that mule would, if that horse started not pulling his weight, or started getting out of line, that mule would cow kick him a little bit. Not hard, but she'd kick him or bite at him, and because they'll teach a horse. Anyway, this other neighbor that lived up the road the other way, he had all the equipment. He just didn't have a mule or a horse. He didn't do that anymore. And he said he'd help me. And they were these people in that part of the country. This is well east of Dallas, in the general area of Tyler, northeast Texas, kind of the woods, piney woods, what they call. Once they get to know you, they take you in like family. They treat you like you're one of their family. They really do. And anyway, so I took, the horse's name was Blackjack. Susie's riding horse, but he was a real calm, didn't get excitable horse. I thought, boy, he ought to do it good. And he was good size. So we went up there, and he had built a thing he called a slide, and it looked like about the size of a pallet, but it was a solid floor, and it had runners on it pointing, you know.
Yeah, I think I got a picture of Blackjack on that Facebook.
Yeah. And Susie, we rigged him all up with the harness, and his harness and everything had blinders on it, and he wasn't really used to that, you know, having blinders on. But Susie got behind him on that pallet, and he was just used to working with her, and she was just going up back and forth across this field with him and doing just fine. And so he got on, took, and he was going to, you know, teach him his, you know, G and Ha and stuff like that. And we were standing there watching him, and he come by, and boy, that horse was just going. I thought, boy, this is amazing how fast that horse is learning. And he went by, and he was just looking at the side, just grinning at us like, boy, this is something. And he came back by, and he was still grinning. He was so happy, and I was too. And all of a sudden, that horse broke and took off, and he went around that whole 15 acres, bucking and kicking. And finally, he let him go. He just threw the plow lines up and
he jumped off the pallet.
And dragging that slide or pallet. And he come back up to the barn, and there was one little old board left of that pallet. He had destroyed that pallet. And I kind of give up on it. I didn't want to do it much after that. But back to the, you know, the people, they'd have so much information and experience that they.
Oh, tell them about their grandpa that lived next to him. He was in a nursing home, but the house was abandoned, and they was telling Bill about, what was it?
Well, his grandpa, it would be his father's father, was an old-timey horse doctor, and he lived just pretty close to him in a little house by himself, and he had taught him this stuff, and worked with him. This fellow that I knew, his father was gone and passed. way before that. Well, this grandpa, he was an old-timey horse doctor. He knew all the old
Mules and stuff like
herbs
that.
and different medicines out in the woods that a lot of hill people know. It's real valuable information. Well, he had wrote it down in a journal, and they were going to give it to me because I was realizing I want to do everything myself.
Oh, we was wanting to learn that
I was
stuff.
wanting to learn, and we've always given our own shots to our horses and cows and dogs when we could. You can't hardly do it to dogs anymore.
And when people had trouble, they bring their animals to that man.
To that man, he was supposed to have been a good horse doctor. But anyway, he had a little house up there that was just empty because he was in a nursing home then. And so my friend, his grandson, went up there and they got up in the attic. And, it was up in the attic.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Didn't you go with him?
Yeah, and but it was all chewed up. Rats had got it.
Mm.
And so that ended that. But it was, I was really wanting that, but
Wouldn't that have been nice to have?
wasn't meant to be. But they did teach us a lot. All those neighbors around there, they just had come up hard and made a living the hard way, or what a lot of people did back then, on their own. But that was really like homesteading life back then, and that's been, gosh, almost 50 years ago.
And they wouldn't have called it homesteading back
No,
then.
they
It was just living.
Making a living the best way you can.
Yeah.
This fella, the grandson, he is actually older than me, a good bit older than me. When he did a little bit of a gardening there, just with a hoe and a shovel, and it looked like Martha Stewart's garden. I mean, it was perfect.
Oh,
And just to see if he could still do it, still had the knack, and he did.
and he used to raise a bunch of tomatoes and
Yeah, he would take them to Dallas. They had a farmer's market back then in Dallas, and he would sit up and sell his tomatoes. And there was also a lot of tomatoes grown in that area. Heinz, the company Heinz would come in, and they had tomato sheds, they called them, but they would sit up and sort tomatoes, and a lot of the women in the area would get a temporary job in the summer, and they would sort tomatoes, grate them, and put them in their baskets. But this guy, he, with a hoe and a shovel and a rake, he made a garden look like it was Martha Stewart's place. I mean, that type of a setup, it would just look perfect, like a perfect garden. This friend of mine, he had so many cantaloupes, he was giving them away, and finally somebody come and took a pickup load of cantaloupes and fed them to hogs. He just gave them away. He was just doing it to, they raised enough for them, vegetables.
and they were good cantaloupes
Oh
too.
man, they looked like
Smelled good.
grade A cantaloupes. But those people knew how to do that.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned way. They knew what they were doing.
And that was good learning for us.
Yeah, it was a good learning experience. And, we enjoyed it because most of the summer evenings we would sit on our front porch. They had a big front porch with a porch swing and chairs and rails, just a wood front porch. And that's where you sit. That was entertainment and talk. And, that was, didn't watch TV. We had TV.
And then people were pretty poor, and we seen them one time. All they had to eat was bread and water, I think.
Homemade bread and water, I think.
And so we'd invite them to come down to eat with us.
And he would help me do anything, that particular fella. Anything I asked, he volunteered to help. They were good neighbors. And in the wintertime, you sit around the wood heater and talk, drank coffee and talked, and that was the entertainment.
It was fun. And the kids, they'd sit down on out there on the ground, play in the dirt.
The kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what kids played in the dirt back then.
Oh yeah, tell them about Charles. Would take the kids up.
She would load the kids up. They had our kids, or girls were before school age. They were little. The youngest was just a baby, but she would put them in this little red wagon that we had for them. And we had a big German Shepherd by the name of Charles. And a lady gave him to us. They were having difficulties and they needed a home for him, and we took him. And she would hitch him to that wagon because it was up and down hills going to this people's house. It was in hilly country. And he would pull that wagon with the kids in it up to the
Well, I
house.
put feed sacks in there and put the kids on top.
Yeah. And well, we had our horses up there at that time, and she would take feed up there too with that wagon during the day or in the evening. And then she would be on the front porch with this man and woman, and they just talked, and that was entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, we had a TV, and you know we could watch TV, but we enjoyed it more.
He'd get his guitar and
Yeah, and he'd
come out on the porch and sing the Western songs.
Yeah,
that was real fun.
He was a professional singer.
Yeah.
And he just never. There's, you know, I've often talked to somebody that I know that made it big in writing, author. There's millions of people that try stuff like that don't make it. Ben.
We're going to have to wait a minute. The neighbor's coming out.
Okay.
Yeah, the biscuits getting done, and
We'll build up a fire a little bit, and she's going to go get some bacon and sausage and bring it out here in a skillet, and we'll cook it and leave it alone.
it's getting windy a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm going to build a fire.
Oh, we got the bacon cooking.
Yeah, this one neighbor we had, he had a milk cow. And Susie had a milk cow.
Well, I was over their house one time with the kids, and they were little. He said, I don't know what they're after. He says, you want to learn how to milk a cow? And I said, yeah. So he showed me, and I thought, well, that's not hard at all. But later on, we got some milk goats.
Yeah.
We wanted that real milk.
And when we started working cattle, it come in handy because we had to hem one up in a squeeze chute that had milk beaver, and she had to be milked down twice a day because her bag was so big.
Yeah.
And so we had to do that, and she was kind of a wild girl.
She was. Anyway, we learned a lot of stuff from them people.
Yeah.
And we got good memories from them, and we really appreciate it. It was a life experience that we had. So thanks for watching. From Out West Homestead. Bill talked so much, his biscuits about done.
Yeah.
We need to get this bacon going. And of course, all the dogs followed me because I had the bacon. Well, the wind's coming up. And the bacon's starting to smell good. I want to enjoy having some biscuits. Here we come around. We save these old pads off our lawn chairs. We put them over here so the dogs have a nice place to lay down, and they enjoy it. Hey.
That old wood heater's about to burn out over here.
Yeah.
Getting a hole in it on this side.
I know.
Getting a hole.
The doors don't want to open. It's burning out. I think you cooked too many biscuits.
Oh, right there. Maybe I need to retire.
Well, you are retired. Be good if we could find somebody to dump one of these. We could bring it home.
Yeah, I don't really like this kind of wood heater. I don't think they work too good in the house, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that was in our house. When we moved here, we used it all right, but we didn't care for it.
And we bought another one.
Yeah.
It works good out here. Of course, you're not supposed to have it out in the rain and the snow.
You're not supposed to have a wood heater out in the rain and snow.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're breaking the rules.
Yeah. I do that a lot.
Yeah. wind's really picking up.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the biscuits in.
Okay. Oh yeah, it looks perfect. Yeah, looks great. They smell good. I can smell them. Well, he takes them in. I'm going to watch over the baking.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay. And